take a while. A good start. Yep, I believe we're going. Yes, we are. Cool. Good now, everyone. I hope this broadcast finds you well. My name is Artorius Winchester, Scholar of the Dreaming Glade, and welcome back to some VTuber cocktails, specifically the first VTuber cocktail stream of this year. Apologies if my mic or my sound is really echoey at the minute. I don't really know why. All I've done is move my microphone left from where I normally sit, like, not even a meter. And apparently the audio is just a bajillion times worse over here. But yeah, so how's everyone doing? I saw Mimi in pre-chat was talking about drinking vermouth, which is very classy, I've got to say. But yeah, you'll certainly, you know, it's certainly very befitting this stream. Oh, hang on, let me just check stream health is all right. Should be. Yep, that looks fine. Cool. Yeah, but I hope you've all had pleasant days, pleasant weeks, pleasant months. I feel like this January's been a very long one, hasn't it? Maybe it's just that kind of, yes, I am classy. Yes, you are, indeed. Yeah, I feel like maybe it's just that kind of long slump after, you know, Christmas. Where, you know, everything's a bit kind of, you know, dark and dreary and that, which I don't mind too much, to be fair. I'll always be an advocate of winter over summer. But it does make it feel like, this month does, you know, has seemed to, go on for a while, hasn't it? But anyway, yeah. At least we're all, you know, sitting comfortably now, I hope. And we're going to make some pretty nice drinks. I'm quite proud of these ones. I think, these two cocktails in particular have got the most visual flair out of anything I've made in the series so far. And I'm not doing anything massive with them. But it's smaller details like this that I do want to pick up going into like kind of future cocktail streams and that. That I just think would be really neat. But anyway, I shall not natter on longer than I need to. Because we've got drinks to make. So, our first VTuber of the evening. And I actually had someone, let me get their name up, actually. I had a, Miss, Ayoku Nakasu, on Blue Sky, correctly guess both of the, silhouettes, on this, which, you know, hats off to you that you'd managed to do that. It's, yeah, perhaps not the hardest, silhouettes this week, because... yeah, I think these are both very kind of identifiable VTubers, but also VTubers that I really like. Which is mainly why I'm making cocktails for them anyway. So our first one of the evening is... it's Miss Kobo Kanaeru of Hololive ID Gen 3, I believe. She's 3rd gen, right? His 1st gen is like... wait, are you on Blue Sky? I absolutely am on Blue Sky, yes. I just don't think I ever got round to adding that to my YouTube descriptions. But yeah, I'm on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitch and YouTube streaming simultaneously. Yeah, and I think that's about it. I haven't bothered with TikTok yet. I'm trying to just, you know, get my head around YouTube Shorts first. And then everywhere else, I just don't take enough photos or have enough hours in the day to maintain. But yeah, that's my little remit, I suppose, of places where I am. But let's yeah, switch the topic off me for a second. Let's get back to Miss Kobo, shall we? So, Kobo Kanaeru. If we were gonna say make a drink, you know, inspired by her, based on her, what do we think it should be? I think, and I hope I have no disagreements here, when I say that the drink should definitely be sweet-leaning. There's a specific stylistic choice, which I'll go into on the next page, which works for the visual aesthetic and the sweetness, definitely. Because, yeah, Kobo is definitely a VTuber I would consider to be more sweet than bitter. I mean, I guess you could argue the whole, like, you know, Kusugaki angle, maybe go middle of the road, but nah, I just think it's far more sweet. With regards to strength, I can see arguments for this potentially leaning on the weaker side because, you know, Corbo definitely is, you know, what should we say? She doesn't, maybe she doesn't like, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this without coming off as like an arsehole. It's more difficult. I guess maybe she doesn't, you know, she doesn't openly present like the super like mature like, you know, ara things, which I guess is normally where I draw like, okay, yeah, that's like a strong cocktail thing. Kobo doesn't necessarily present that, but I've given her like a not too strong, but a like kind of mid to strong cocktail here, purely because of some of the things I took as base templates when coming up with this drink. And again, I'll go into more detail about that on the next slide here. But first off, before that, we're going to keep it nice and simple with her. Like I said, there's a bit of visual flourish that takes a bit of setting up, but generally we're just going dead simple here. And to no one's surprise, we're going cold. I can confirm that there are, once again, no hot toddies or anything like that this week. We're keeping it cool. So, with regards to this drink, so as I kind of mentioned, there's a visual flair that also kind of enhances the sweetness that I mentioned on the kind of last slide, and that flair and that sweetness is coming from the sugared rim. So I've decided to give her a cocktail with a sugared rim because I thought there's a really nice kind of like if I have like a blue cocktail and then that sugared rim on the top to make it look like the crest of a wave. You know, it would match her hair, and also I think it would be what's the word? Well, like I said, visually striking and also taste quite nice, hopefully. But that idea itself was actually recommended by one of my chat members. They kind of, I can't remember what stream it was. I think it was actually the New Year stream where someone said, hey, you know, what if you made a cocktail based on Corbo and it had like a sugared rim and stuff? And I was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. And so I played around with the flavors of it and, you know, took some inspiration from a couple of other different places and arrived at this final recipe. Speaking of places I took inspiration from, actually, it's also kind of a mix of a couple. It says another famous water-related cocktail. It's actually two famous water-related cocktails. So specifically, we are looking here at the Aqua Velva, because, you know, aqua, water, makes sense. And also a much lesser known kind of Korean cocktail called an Eastern Sea, which I happen to be very fond of. And it's also really nice and sweet, and it's just a great cocktail, honestly. But I wanted to see if I could kind of put these elements together with the sugared rim, make it work, and essentially what we got out at the end of that is a cocktail I'm calling the Rain Wave, because she's a rain shaman, but her hair is all like, you know, kind of waves of the sea and that. So I guess that makes that a rain wave. That's where the inspiration for the name came from anyway. Right. Let me type that up first. I'm not forgetting typing the things up this time. I've got to go and edit that. 1 second. Okay, right. How does that look? Oh, I need to remove and enter. Whoops. And try that. Ow. Better remember to try and not punch my mic stand so much. Right. But yeah, anyway, let me flick to this. Here we are. Hello. We are back at it. Officially. So, let's get our trusty shakers. In fact, I'll keep the big one out there, so I'll just mix things into the smaller one, because it's a bit easier to get on camera. And let me get our first ingredient. So, as I mentioned, this cocktail is kind of a cross between a, it's a cross between an Aqua Velva and an Eastern Sea, and going for the kind of, like, freshwater, seawater mix thing that she kind of has going on in her design. So, we're going to start with the basis for an aqua velva. And that is 3/4 of an ounce of vodka, which I have here. Oopsie. Gonna happen. Already throwing stuff all over the place. But yeah, so 3/4 of an ounce of vodka. I'm not using anything fancy here. It's just, you know, just a solid standard Smirnoff. Then, get that open. And we want about 3/4 of an ounce of this. So if I do it into here. There we go. That's a weighty 3/4 of an ounce, to be fair. But in it goes. I might keep a little bit of that back. I can decant just a bit of it. There we go. And then next, for those of you who are budding mixologists in the chat, will know that the other main alcoholic component, at least of an aqua velva, 2 alcoholic components, I should say, is some gin. So I've just got some, what do you call this? Well, some London Dry. We'll go with that. Has a word beginning with G that I'm forgetting at the minute, and it's not gin, to describe it. But we have some London Dry gin. We're going to do 3/4 of an ounce of that. Apologies if I've been talking past the mic for all that vodka segment. I've just realised where it is. There we are, about 3/4 of an ounce. Going in. And then we want a 1/2 ounce of Blue Curacao, which you might guess is where that blue's going to come. So let me just cracked it open here actually, but yeah, I'm just using some De Kuyper Blue Curacao. I mean, any Blue Curacao will likely do. And we want just 1/2 ounce of this, so that's a full one of these. Oh, helps if I get it on camera. There we go. Half an ounce of that. Good blue stuff. And it goes. Alright. And now we start breaking the conventions of an aqua velva. And we kind of lean a lot more into the Eastern Sea cocktail. Blue Curacao back there. So, what we're going to do next is we're going to do, well, I'll do that last, actually. So, our next couple of ingredients are going to be, not that either, wrong thing. We're going to look at 2 ounces of apple juice. I've just got some, like, innocent, it's a slightly sweeter apple juice than most, I'd guess. But, like, most apple juices will do fine. Let me do a couple of ounces of this. So we want 1. Ooh. A very weighty 1. And 2. Go. We then want 1 ounce. I'm going to push my cans back a bit, actually, to make sure I can fit all of this on frame. I've got a whole frame. I may as well use it. There you go. We're going to want 1 ounce of sweet and sour mix. Now, this is actually a concoction I made myself. For anyone who doesn't know what sweet and sour mix is, it is just lemon juice, lime juice, water, and sugar, all in equal parts, boiled up, kind of, you know, allowed to combine, then bottled and put in the fridge. So like I say, I'm actually getting onto my last little scrap of this, so I'm probably going to need to make some more. But, yeah, we want 1 ounce of that for this kind of, like, sweet, sour, kind of, like, syrup that'll definitely help it. Although that's not the only sour component, because it's time to move on to our last ingredient, which is 1/2 ounce of lime juice. Now, you may be wondering, why has he specifically left the lime juice to last? What's so special about it? Well, I'll show you. Because if I move these to the side for just a second, move the actual drink there, we've got our glass. And also some blue that I need to mop up. But yeah, we've got our glass. Which doesn't have that sugared rim yet. And we're going to use the lime to help us achieve that. So, I'm just going to cut this lime in half. There we go. Shouldn't cut it straight on the table, really, but worst things happen at sea. Which is a phrase that is... I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, really. There's so many weird phrases in, like, English, I think particularly British English, that, like, you just kind of throw out and people know what the meaning are, but if you manage... Like, if you... Not manage, if you, actually, like, look at the phrases and the sayings individually, they make no sense. Like, worst things happen at sea. I mean, well, yeah, I guess, but... Like, why is that the go-to thing to say? Anyway. Right. So. We've cut the lime in half, and then we've cut one of the halves in half again. The reason for this is we're going to go around the top edge of our glass here. We're going to push this lime on gently. And we're going to coat the rim in lime juice. Ooh, and we're going to try and not let it slip. There we go, make sure it gets a good coat, both sides. Try and do it evenly. Okay. So we've got that, and I'm not sure if it's too obvious to see. I'll try and bring this up to the camera. But you can hopefully see that, like, the lime juice is just on the top there. Now what I've got is this plate of sugar. Now, traditionally, at least when I last, oops, I accidentally kicked the table. At least when I last did this, I actually used, like, a bowl with, like, much less shallow sides and a much flatter bottom, because it helps with this. I don't really have that, so I'm not sure how good this is going to turn out if I just do this. Oh, it might turn out alright, actually. If I just kind of grind it there. That has got the effect to it. You know what, actually? Fair enough. I thought that was going to go much worse than it did. We're just going to mix that in here as much as we can. Try and get a decent amount of sugar on the inside, so the inside is coated as much as the outside. Again, evenness is what we're looking for here. And there we go. That's a sugared rim, if I've ever seen one. So we'll move our plate of sugar out the way. And now all that remains to do is... and I am going to need the big one for this, unfortunately. Actually, no. Maybe I can do it without. Okay, we're going to try something a bit risky. We're going to just juice the lime straight into our jigger. Which, in case you don't know, by the way, that's what this is called officially. Looks pretty. Yeah, I know. It's a really nice visual touch. Right. Let's get juicing. This lime doesn't feel like it's going to have too much juice left in it. My god, that really did nothing. Thank you, Mexican Elbow, for your continued services in producing exactly 0 lime juice for me. Cool. I feel like it might just be better if I hand squeezed them because they're a bit too small for the Mexican Elbow. Right. Try this half. This was the bigger half, to be fair, so maybe we can get a bit more joy out of this. Again, just got to do this carefully and slowly. Well, that presents a bit of an issue. Because that is well under half an ounce of lime juice. And we need that half. What to do? Right. I'm just going to reposition this in here a little bit. See if we can convince... Oopsie. See if I can not punch the camera with my Mexican Elbow. And then convince it to give us a bit more juice. Oh, that was a reasonable squash. Same half of it went over the side, but oh well. Right. So there's that. I'm going to just try and hand squeeze a bit more of this out. Hey. It's a little bit more. To be fair, again, maybe these will actually save us here. Yeah, there we go. One of them. And there's one of them. Okay. We've got just under half an ounce of lime juice. It's the best I could do with the lime I've got, though. So I'm going to put that final ingredient in there. I need to be very careful about touching any of my keyboard and stuff. Right. Now, let's see. Have I got... I've written a note for this, really. I will be back in just 1 second, because I realised I've left my ice downstairs again. Yeah, back in just a second. Right. My apologies about that. One of these days, I'll get these one of these things properly organised. Right, let me these back on. I've always been wondering, you know, I've always been trying to look for a better solution for the ice situation. Because obviously the problem is the room where I stream and do this and the room where my ice lives, you know, in the freezer, are quite distant. And, oh, that's sticky. Ooh. And obviously it means that I have to keep making breaks like this whenever I want to go and get ice for drinks, which is kind of essential. Now, there's one bit of ice. We're going to go for, I don't know, like 3, maybe 4 of these little cubes. Hexagons. Literally. Name basic shapes challenge. Impossible, apparently. So, there we are. There's 4 of them. Then, if I find somewhere to put that off camera, there will do. Anything left to do is roll that into here. Close it. Make sure it's on tight. And start shaking. Right. I've done a bit of shaking on there. Now I'm going to properly do some by the mic. Here we go. Again, I'm hoping this is coming through. Always kind of hope it does. Shouldn't need to shake this one too much. Just, enough to mostly get rid of the ice. Like, my philosophy on this shaking is always, when the ice stops clanking around so much, you're pretty much done on the shaking. Which we're almost there on. There we go. Right. So, let's open her up. Oh, it's looking good. We're going to tip this in here, being careful not to damage the nice sugared rim we made. And there we go. And I think that is really a stunning little looking drink. If I bring it up to the camera, I'm not sure what the best angle for that is. I think the best angle actually might be if I tilt my camera a bit. Getting a bit of the behind the scenes of one of my walls, I guess, but yeah. Actually, it looks better like that. There we go. So, there we have it. I present to you, in honor of Kobo Kanairu, the Rainwave. I'll take a photo of there. So, now we've made the thing. Give it a little taste test, shall we? Give it a flavor report. That's a very sugary rim. You know, maybe my sweet and sour mix was more on the sour side than sweet side, because I don't think that needed any more lime juice. Like, I think we had gone up to like the full half an ounce, we would have overkilled it. The slightly lower amount there actually works for it pretty well. That is, how do I describe it, though, outside of talking about the lime balance? I'd say the sugared rim is just the right amount of sugar. It provides an interesting texture going into the drink. But then I don't think you just taste sugar. Because there's a lot of, like, actual sour, I'd say, flavors in the drink. That help, like, balance it out. And the sugar, as opposed to, like, trying to overpower them, lifts them up. Other than that, you don't really taste much of the vodka, but that's because it's vodka. It's basically just there for the alcohol content. And I'm not getting too many notes of the gin, to be fair. What I'm mainly getting is, like... No, I'm getting bits of the gin. Oh, let me give it another go. I shall simply need to investigate further. Now, you do definitely get notes of both of them, to be fair. I'd say it leans a bit harder on the gin, but my palate isn't quite refined enough to be able to pick them apart in a drink like this. Yeah, you have that kind of, like, alcoholic undertone, but the top tones are really the lime juice, the apple juice, and the blue curacao. And the sugar helps to kind of, like, tie them all together, I think. That sugared rim on this is, does wonders for the drink, gotta say. Yep, it certainly does. Look any better if you can kind of tell where what I've been drinking, where the sugared rim's gone. But yeah. So you've essentially got a fairly, like, much lighter in alcohol than I had anticipated. To be fair, this is definitely on the weaker side of cocktails. This is very drinkable. You got something that's a bit on the weaker side. It's sweet with a sour punch. Which I guess, makes more sense for a kusugaki than sweet with a bitter punch. But yeah, it's sweet with a decently sour punch. Very interesting texture with the sugared rim, and I believe the sugar there also helps tie a lot of the other ingredients together. Like I say, I'm really happy with that drink. I can fully recommend it to anyone who happens to have the slew of ingredients I had. Which, to be fair, isn't too much. It's apple juice, a lime, vodka gin, blue curacao you probably have to go out your way to get. Well, they're not too far out your way, to be fair. It's sold in, like, most supermarkets if you know what you're looking for. But, Yeah, it's just something that most people probably aren't going to have just lying around, whereas vodka and gin people might have. But yeah, vodka, gin, blue curacao, apple juice, and a lime. Essentially. The sweet and sour mixture, fair enough, you'll need sugar and a lemon for as well. But, yeah, you put them together into something like this. You've got some very happy customers. That's all I'm saying. So, with that, pretty successful drink out the way. I'm going to move off to the side now. Goodbye, Rainwave. Oopsie. What we're going to do is I'm going to quickly set up for the next drink. So I'm just going to give my cans a very quick rinse out. And then I will be right back again. I swear I used to have a BRB screen on OBS somewhere. Is this it? Nope, that's the 1 year anniversary stuff. Hang on. Let me kill all this. Hang on. There we are. Right, we got any text? No, okay. Hang on. I'm not engineering an OBS overlay on the fly. You are. Is this text? Yeah, that'll do. Let me... Oops. Excuse me. Type in... that. Okay. So we got that. I could do with it being a bit bigger. Ooh, there we go. Could also do with being able to select it. There's so much going on. There we go. Right. That there. Hide my silly self wherever I am. There I am. Right. Be back in just 1 second. There we go. We made it. And there we are. We are back. We are locked. We are loaded. We are trying to find this. There we are. And then turn that off. Go back to there. All right. So, our next cocktail. Wait, yeah, for a second. Our next cocktail is going to be based on none other than The recently graduated, I suppose, Pomu Rain Puff. I wanted to talk a bit about this, obviously, because I've done a fair few VTubers on this show, and I've done some ones that have graduated before. I think Pomu is a particularly special case, and maybe kind of like, maybe I could have talked about Kobo a bit more, but I feel like Pomu really hits close to home to me. It's a shame I didn't get this out before she graduated. I really did try to, but just the timings on this didn't kind of line up for me. Yeah, like, Pomu I watched since the very first day she debuted. I was there, pre, Niji Sanji En, Wave 1. I've watched it all grow from the central point that is her, Alira, and Fanana. And, seeing her kind of go, I'm happy she's pursuing what she wants, but, it hit hard, and I'm sure it did for a lot of us. It, really, really sucks that she's gone, because there's so many just outstanding, outstanding clips of her, outstanding bits of content that she's done. But, like, the true launching point for basically the rest of Niji Sanji, and, like, she was one of the OGs, what more can you say, essentially. And I think what gets me most is that throughout all of her, like, graduation stuff, it felt like she never had faith in herself, that she was more than, like, just some anime girl. And that's wild to me. Because, like, girl, how much bigger you need to get before you, like, give yourself some credit? That's absolutely madness. But yeah, Pomu was a VTuber near and dear to my heart. When she says she goes off, she's going off to do, go back to school for a bit, I have this kind of outsider hope / absolute outrageous theory that she's going to business school to learn how to run a business, so then she can eventually come back as, like, the manager for, like, a new VTuber agency, maybe? Use her skills and acumen and, namesake there to kind of maybe, make another kind of, another agency out of the ones we've got, because more competition is always better. But, you tend to have, like, Hololive, Niji Sanji, VShojo, and, to an extent, like, idol, like the idol VTubers like Rin Penrose and that. And then you've got indies, and, like, to be fair, there's already a decent amount of competition there, but I think someone like her, if she had the business know-how, I think she'd be able to pull some great stuff off. But that's my insane theory, anyway. But yeah, anyway. So, a drink for Miss Pomu Rain Puff. What would we want to classify that as? So, first off, we're going dead sweet on this one. I feel like it depends on... this sweet is a lot of an interpretation thing, because having trialed this drink once before, the definition of how sweet it is depends entirely on what your opinion on licorice is. Because, like, licorice is, by definition, a sweet. It tastes sweet. But also it tastes like licorice. And if you ask, people what licorice tastes of, you get anything from really nice to horrible and bitter to kind of like car tires. So it's a really, like a smorgasbord of answers you can get from that. And, yeah, I've personally put it at quite sweet because of the other ingredients that are going with it. But, just, do be warned, it's sweet asterisk, shall we say. We're also going quite strong on this. Again, you might be surprised, Like, I guess Pomu had Pomura for, the kind of deeper voice stuff. But it wasn't, like, core to her, character. If anything, I'd say, actually, no, I guess Pomura was pretty core. Although, I don't know. In my head, like, Pomura was always below Frog, but maybe that's just me. In terms of, complexity, we're going pretty simple on this. If anything, I'd say this one was simpler than the Rainwave that I just made, so I don't actually know why I've put it there, I'm gonna be honest. But, There are a couple of little, like, kind of prep things we have to do, but none of them are too strenuous. And finally, we're going cold again. It's not a hot drink. Who could have seen this coming for the 89th cocktail in a row? I am not making it hot because I still haven't worked out how I do a hot drink up here without, you know, being scolding myself. But anyway, so now serving pomegranate puff. I couldn't make a drink befitting a green-clad fairy without making absinthe the star ingredient. You heard that right. We're going absinthe with this, which is a lot less scary than a lot of people think it is. I mean, fair, I'm looking at the bottle here, and it says, what, like 68%? So that's where the strength's coming from, but it is the green fairy drink. Like, how can I not make a pomegranate puff if I'm making a pomegranate puff cocktail, how can I not use the green fairy, spirit? It doesn't make sense not to. And I've also taken a bit of liberties with the visual flair. So I think if I get this right, and this is going to depend on the amount of ice I put in, because I haven't tried making this drink exactly this way before. But if I get this right, this drink should somewhat resemble a very tall pomodachi. And without further ado then, I will now present the Pomodachi's Pride. Which just so happens to shorten to PP. Who'd have thought, right? Who'd have thought? Let me just get that typed in. 1 second. There we are. I don't think there'd be enough room at the bottom there for Pomodachi's Pride, so I'm just shortening it to PP. You all know what it means, though. Right. So. Let's, boot up the old camera again. Oops, I did leave that on cam, so I need to move that back. And let's get our ingredients going. So. The ingredients for this one, I should mention, actually, the inspiration from this one, from, like, terms of, you know, other existing cocktails I looked at, because I'm not really familiar with absinthe, I'll be honest. This is my first time trying to, like, really mess around with it. So, I had to, like, you know, definitely dig a lot deeper into the, what do I normally do that I can maybe make work into this? What existing cocktails are there that I think, that's nice? And, you know, to no one's surprise, really, there's a bunch of absinthe cocktails already with fairy in the name, and I feel like I looked at a bunch of them. I was really tempted to try one that, like, would have required me, like, blending ice, making almost kind of like a green, like, slush puppy type thing. But I've decided in the end to go with one that I thought was pretty cool, and also I had most of the ingredients for anyway. So this is kind of like definitely taking notes from something called a Dead Man's Mule, if anyone's ever heard of that. But anyway, right. We're going to juice the lime properly this time. So, we have another lime right here. I'm going to cut it in half. Once again, straight onto my table, because, you know, this is a lawless wasteland, apparently. Then I'm going to juice this into here. I'm going to try and move that over the back so I can aim this in. God, how do I normally see this? That's how I normally see this. Let's... Okay, I'll get it right over there, and then... Yeah, there we go. Let's juice this lime. We need another ½ an ounce here. I'm going to hope we actually get ½ an ounce this time, as opposed to the just under that we got. But if we don't, we don't. It is what it is. I'll turn it over. Another squeeze. And finally, now it's a lot flatter. Fold it in half. Best you can. That's the technique I always take with juicing limes. It's you squeeze it down one way, squeeze it down the other way, and then fold it in half and squeeze it again. And that's generally how you get the most juice out of each half of lime. I think looking at this... oh, hello there, Mawa. Nice to see you. We are currently making a Pomodachi's Pride for Pomo Rain Puff, which just so happens to abbreviate to PP. Hence the what's it? PP in the text box below. There we go. I'm currently juicing limes. Well, limes. Lime singular. There we are. We're almost full on that lime juice now. We're just gonna give this one the last little fold, and then hopefully that'll let us... Yeah, that's... it's still a little bit under, but it's a lot closer than the other half was. So we're gonna take that. And there we are. So half an ounce of lime juice. Going right in. Then we need we'll do this way. Another couple of 3/4 ounces. So, as I stated earlier, the star of this drink is going to be none other than this Absinthe. Which is actually corked, which is pretty nice. I'm going to see if I can get this cork popping on the mic. Hold on. A little PP in the text box below. Okay, you know, when I was saying that, I didn't think about it like that. Oops. I didn't mean it like that. Please do not ban me, Twitch or YouTube. But there is, in fact, a little PP in the text box below. Anyway, see, can I uncork this? I didn't make nearly as much of a sound as I was hoping. That's a bit of a shame. Oh, well. But, prove my point, though. Like, it is properly... That's the lid on this thing. Okay. Now, gotta be careful with this. So we want 3/4 ounce, and it's really important with absinthe because it is, you know, not just strong in alcohol volume, but also strong in flavor. Don't over pour the absinthe here. So. There we are. That looks like about 3/4 ounce to me. So we're going to toss that in there. Recork. In fact, can I get this on camera? Probably not. Nah, not easily. Well, whatever. I'm recorking it. There we go. It is sitting in there. That's just how the lid works. No screw or anything. It's just the cork. Unlike our next ingredient, which is the return of an old favourite of the stream. We want 3/4 ounce of Goldschlager Cinnamon Schnapps. That's right. It's back, and I'm going to try and make some room for it. There it is. In all of its literally having flakes of gold in the bottom glory. Look, you can see them there. There they are. Just along the bottom. Those are flakes of actual gold, by the way. Because this is a very, very extra Blina schnapps. It also doesn't want to open at the minute. There we go. So, let's do 3/4 ounce of cinnamon schnapps. There we go. Again, don't want to overdo that because cinnamon, another very powerful flavor. 3/4 ounce of that going in. We then want a syrup to kind of help bring this together, but we're not going for any kind of normal syrup, nor are we going for one that I've made personally. We're actually going to go for this drink, as soon as I can reach it. There we are. 3/4 ounce of Orgeat. Now, in case you don't know what Orgeat is, it is, well, you can probably tell actually by this, it's an almond-based syrup. It kind of smells and tastes like the white bits on a cherry bakewell. If you've ever kind of, well, if you're familiar. I'm assuming most people are. But yeah, this is like the white bit of a cherry bakewell in liquid form. Is the easiest way I can describe that. And we also want 3/4 of an ounce of this. As soon as we can get the blasted thing open. Oi. Almost there, I think. There we go. Right, so 3/4 of an ounce of our orgeat. Here you go. That can go in there. So, we've got orgeat in there. We've got absinthe. We've got Goldschlager. It's a very eclectic mix of ingredients, this one, I've got to say. Oh, we've got lime juice in there as well, actually. Almost forgot about that. So, we've got our final and possibly most important ingredient for the coloration. It is the humble pineapple juice. Which, this is where this definitely deviates from a Dead Man's Mule a lot. So the Dead Man's Mule here would then call for ginger beer, which is yet another kind of, you know, spicy, powerful flavor. I can only assume that drink is designed to kill you, but it does also sound like a good time. This, obviously, I wanted to make something, you know, a bit sweeter, a bit fruitier. Well, I did want to use absinthe. I didn't want to make this drink undrinkable or anything. So I thought I'd take inspiration from a lot of other rum-based drinks I do and just be like, just add, you know, pineapple juice. And, you know, that'll fix things. So we're going to add 1, 2 ounces of pineapple juice. I'm wondering whether I do 2.5 here. I think... No, I'm gonna stick to I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna just do 2 ounces. And now I'm just gonna. I left my ice next door. 1 second. Let me just reach around and get my ice. Okay, so let me get my glass for this particular endeavor. So what I'm going to do with the glass here is that I'm going to kind of layer this up a bit like you would, say, like a pina colada or similar drink. So I'm going to get a bunch of these ice cubes out here and just see how many I can throw in here. These have melted a little bit because obviously I didn't keep them in the freezer while I was yakking, but I'm just going to chuck a bunch of these in here if we can. And my goal here is to get about the glass about halfway filled up with just ice. So obviously the thing about absinthe cocktails is that traditionally, you know, when the liqueur was drunk, or the spirit I should say, was drunk, in kind of France, before it got banned for being too popular. Unironically, that's what happened to it. I'm going to go for about that much ice, I think. Maybe 1 cube more, actually. Or hexagon more. There we go. But yes, what unironically happened to absinthe before it was banned for being too popular is that people would have these little, I don't know what exactly you would call them. They're these little kind of like things that would slowly dispense absinthe along with water. So that you kind of drink a diluted mix of absinthe, which, I mean, you know, it being 68%, you probably want to do if it's, you know, lunchtime. Although this is the French, so who knows. There we go. Right, so we filled up our glass with ice. I'm hoping that's not too much ice. If it is, whoops. So as per last time, we're going to want to roll our drink into here. You can see that pineapple juice has done wonders for the colour. And we're going to want to give it a shake. Again, I'll try and do some shaking on camera, some shaking off. Okay. Right. And some behind the camera before all the ice melts, so that people can enjoy it here. Try not to punch myself in the face while I do it. And also try not to let my headphones fall off. There's a lot of things to balance here when you think about it. Okay, we're sounding good to me. There's only a little bit of ice clanking about. Right. I'm going to call that good enough. It's just a quick shake on this one, but I'm sure it'll do fine. So, we'll bring this forward. We'll see how much of this we can get in here. I don't think it'll be all of it, but we can give it a go. Well, strike the light. It's pretty much all of it. God damn. Okay, well that was unexpected. Didn't really thought I'd overdone the ice there. And then what we're going to do is... on the top, I think... a little mint sprig. Like the two little leaves on a pomodachi. Would be a fitting touch. And there we have it. A pomodachi's pride. Let me knock this out the way. And then get a good photo of that. There we go. Looking tasty already. Well, I tell you what, as I poured it out of the shakers, it smelled phenomenal, and I wasn't just talking about the mint as well. But yeah, I think was the mint another one of your ideas actually, Mawa? Because I've got to say, I might need to get you on the show as an assistant for just making the drinks look pretty. Like you've been on point with these garnishes. Which I believe this was your idea as well. But yeah, so here it is. The pomodachi's pride. You know, little mint sprig on the top and all. Let's give it a go, shall we? Oh, ho, ho, hey. Oh. Wow. I'm very rarely, like, as blown away by drinks as I am this particular one. Like, God, what a fitting tribute to one of my favorite, you know, now graduated VTubers. What a drink. Dear God, how do I describe that? So, the mint sprig does a lot for the whole experience, I think. Like, definitely you get, like, the nose of mint, as you kind of, like, you know, bring it up and take a sip. Oh, yeah, it is so good, Mimi, yeah. So, you bring it up. You bring it up to your mouth, your mouth. You get the kind of smell of mint. You take a sip, and you get this really nice kind of interplay between the absinthe and the Goldschlager off the very front back. Like it's the alcohol is front loaded in this one, so you get, again, because it's this kind of cinnamon and absinthe, you get this this licorice effect. And I think the mint also helps with that. Like, this thing is, like, kind of downing an entire sweet shop, actually, I think is what I've decided. So, you know, you start off with, you know, you walk in, you smell the mints, you sip a bit, you know, you have your licorice section, and then it fades out in the end, this kind of nice pineapple, this kind of very nice pineapple note that makes you want to come back for more. I think the Orgeat doesn't have necessarily a distinct, or at least not that I can pick apart, a distinct flavor within the drink, but it does, probably on the back end, help tie all these wildly different flavors together. I'm going back for some more of that. Bliss, that. That's bliss. The more I drink of it, the more I think, weirdly, the opposites happen to it than what normally happens to alcoholic drinks. Because normally, you mix an alcoholic drink, particularly if you don't mix it for that long, because I kind of did there, the alcohol sinks straight to the bottom and all the other ingredients floats up to the top. This seems to be the one occasion where I think there's more pineapple juice at the bottom. But I tell you what, you hand that to someone on a summer's day, they will build you a kingdom, Jesus. I mean, like, it's so good that in my tasting, I've already downed half the glass. It's just, god damn. I think, yeah. I'll probably use the Bleem We Are Pomu tag on Twitter after this. Personally, like I say, I'm super proud of this one. You know, maybe she sees it. Who knows? It's only been, what, like a week since she graduated? She might still be checking the tag. Perfect PP for Pomu. Absolutely. Truly a perfect PP. Oh. But yeah, I'm gonna, Hey, late to this, but look, Sura. Hi there. Yeah, you just missed us making this drink, which is a mix of Absinthe, Goldschlager, Cinnamon Schnapps, Orgeat, which is like an almond syrup, and pineapple juice and lime juice. It is seriously good. If there's a cocktail that maybe I recommend going back and like rewatching a bit of the stream VOD for, this is your one. This is seriously good. I think what's kind of nice as well is the way I built this up with all the ice and that, is that the Absinthe and the Cinnamon Schnapps definitely are strong flavors, but I'm able to drink this much this quickly because the ice kind of, like I was saying, much how, you know, Absinthe was mixed in water back, you know, when it was originally just drank as like a normal thing back in France. This kind of helps, you know, dilute the strength of those flavors somewhat. And I guess if you didn't want to do the ice, you could potentially just add more, like, pineapple juice. Like I say, I was umming and ahhing about adding another half an ounce to this. I don't think it would have ruined it by any means, but I think this is definitely the version I would prefer. Because I don't think you get much better than this. But, yeah. I think with that done, though, I will, switch back to... Where on earth have I put it? Hang on. There we are. Right. I will switch back to this. And I think we've been streaming for just over an hour. I always wonder how I could make these, you know... I mean, I guess maybe there are ways to make these cocktail streams a bit longer, or maybe they just simply don't need to be that, like, you know, much longer. I think I've made 2 very solid drinks. Which I'll go and put on Twitter after this once I've cleaned up, because I've been cutting limes and God knows what else onto this table, so it probably needs a full wipe down. But yeah, no, I think we've made some very solid drinks tonight. I'm very proud of them. And yeah, I'll be looking forward to do it again next month. If anyone has any suggestions for VTubers they'd like me to make drinks for next month, or any kind of, you know, ideas for recipes, or just, hey, what if you mix this with this, you know, even if it's just a flavor combination that you think is kind of cool, do let me know. Like I say, feel free to use probably the comments on the YouTube video that this will be on, because I stream to Twitch and YouTube simultaneously, so the YouTube comments, probably your best way to kind of get specific cocktail ideas through to me. I am also on Twitter, I am also on Blue Sky. The Blue Sky isn't in the description, I need to fix that. Thanks, Mimi, for reminding me about that one. To be fair, I'm not even fully convinced the Bleem Twitch link made it to the YouTube description. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that's all the places where I am. Feel free to send me ideas. I will, you know, do my best to credit you if I shamelessly steal it on the next stream, because you know, because H-Bomber Guy strikes fear into my mortal heart, as he should. Anyway, yeah, with that said, I will see you all next time. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Artorius Winchester, and I'll see you tomorrow for some good-ass Tekken. And by that, I probably just mean some Tekken, because I'm not very good at Tekken. Twitch did not make it to the YouTube description, FYI. Yeah, I need to make a more conscious effort to make sure it's there, I think, because, I copied it over for one of my streams, like, I don't know, like some of the old Strive, streams. And, yeah, like, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just copy from that all the time. And then I started, like, obviously, I had other series in place that I copied from to make the new streams from them, and I copied those setups, and they didn't have that in the description, and it's a whole admin thing, essentially. But anyway, yeah, see you tomorrow for Tekken. Farewell.